When it comes to a first-person shooter, the assault rifle class of weapons is arguably the most important class of weapons in the game, and Battlefield 6 is absolutely no different. And the assault rifles in this game feel really fun. They're all very unique. They all feel very different. I've got my hands on a couple of them, and they do feel pretty powerful in the correct hands if you know how to use them correctly, tap firing, using good bullet velocity builds, and all that good stuff. But out of the 8 that we have at the moment, we're going to be going over which ones have the fastest time to kill in this game, and that's going to give you a good understanding of which assault rifles to actually use. Now, the data for this video has been taken from Battlefinity as per all of our other videos, and if you do want to see a SMG video, a carbine video, and an LMG video, we have those already on the channel, and I'll link them at the end of this one as well. But let's get straight into the numbers. So we've collated all of our data onto our spreadsheet. As you can see, we've got every single range with their time to kill, with all 8 guns, and also the mag size, rate of fire, and bullet velocity. I do think these stats are also very important to consider when we're talking about ranged weapons like an assault rifle, because all of this is going to need to be taken into consideration. Also, the recoil patterns also need to be taken into consideration as well, but I haven't unlocked every single one of these guns yet, and I do want to be very clear about that. And for the ones I have had a chance to play with, I think they are pretty decent to manage, but there might be a couple in there that'll be tough to manage. So like I said, we're going to be basing our opinions off of what I've seen and what I've played with as well, especially in this early days of Battlefield 6. But I do want to ignore the 0 to 10 meter mark, because that is where you should be using either a shotgun, an SMG, or even a carbine, and realistically you don't want to be using assault rifles in that range. However, I do want to quickly just point out the fact that the TR7 does come out pretty quick in terms of time to kills at that range, and that is even competing with some of the SMGs in this game. So now we're organizing for the second damage range. This is the 10 to 40 meter mark. The TR7 comes out on top once again. What a surprise. This is going to be a very reoccurring theme, by the way, and as you can see, it absolutely shreds in every single range. I just do want to point that out straight away. Then we've got the mag size there of 20 rounds, which I believe to be quite small, especially for an assault rifle. The rate of fire is not rapid, so you won't be burning through ammo stupidly fast, but you will notice the fact that you've got a slightly smaller mag. It does have some extended mag options, but it's really not that much bigger than the 20 rounds anyway. And the bullet velocity is kind of on the lower side for assault rifles, to be honest with you. You really want to be sitting at around about 700 or close to, if you can get it. Now, of course, it does have some barrels that boost your bullet velocity up, so I don't want to kind of talk too much about that, but the kind of higher the base bullet velocity is, the higher the rest is going to be when you put attachments on as well. So I do just want to point that out. Then when it comes to the next weapon down, we've got the B36A4 and then the M433. So those are the other 2 weapons on this list within that range, and those are very similar in terms of time to kill in that 10 to 40 meter range. And the B36 does have a better bullet velocity value, and probably the reason why people think this gun feels a lot better in terms of time to kill, because the hit reg is just going to be so much better. Organizing for 40 to 80 meters now, which is basically mid to long range. As you can see, the same 3 guns kind of come out on top once again. We've got the TR7, the M433, and the B36. All these guns come out on top once more, and again, the values of bullet velocity and mag size all stay the same anyway. And last but not least, I just want to organize for that final damage range, just to make sure that there's no other outliers here. But again, we get the same 3 guns at the top once again for fastest time to kill. It's probably going to come as no surprise to you that the TR7 is going to be one of our picks. It absolutely shreds at close, medium, and long range, and when it comes to kind of any fully automatic weapon inside Battlefield 6, it's going to be really hard to compete with this gun. Now, the only issue with the TR7 at the moment is its bullet velocity. I think it's on the kind of lower end, and also its mag size, which is its balancing method, of course. But if you can get past those 2 things, I actually think this gun absolutely shreds. It's probably one of the best and fastest killing guns in the entire game. Next up, we've got the M433, and for the starting assault rifle, this gun is actually pretty solid, to be honest with you. When it comes to time to kills, as you've seen, it does come out as some of the best and fastest killing assault rifles in the game, and it can compete with pretty much most of the guns in the game because the damage output is pretty solid. The rate of fire is respectable, but the issue with this gun, once again, similar to the TR7, is its bullet velocity. So that's something you do want to kind of focus on when you're making your builds, especially for any of the larger scale modes, and that is where you want to kind of build this weapon towards. But overall, this gun is very solid, and if you've used it, then you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Of course, you're going to get more benefits using this in the assault class, but anyone can use this gun and do really well. Lastly, for the top 3 picks, we've got the B36A4, which in my opinion is almost a no-brainer. It's got one of the best time to kills for all of the assault rifles in the game. It's got some of the lowest recoil out of all the assault rifles in the game. It's got some of the lowest bloom out of all of the assault rifles in the game. And it actually has a decent bullet velocity as well to back it all up. Now, all of that combined is going to make this gun feel like the hit reg on it is absolutely insane. And there's obviously a reason why people are choosing to use this gun over the rest. And the good thing about it is the second assault rifle that you actually unlock, which I think is actually very respectable, and it doesn't take no time at all to get your hands on this gun, so it's definitely a very solid pick. I would rather something with a bit more faster time to kill, but if you do want something just well-rounded, then the B36 is a no-brainer. To round off this video, I do want to give my thoughts on the assault rifle class as a whole right now, because I actually think it's in a weird spot. Now, the assault rifles do feel really good, I do want to mention that. However, there's one issue I do want to talk about, and that is weapon bloom. Now, it has been addressed by the developers that they are going to be correcting weapon bloom for certain weapons, and I don't really know which weapons these are. And I don't know if it's just if you're coming out of a slide or a jump that they're going to be reducing it, or if they're going to revert it back to what we had in the beta. Now, that is the best case scenario in my opinion, because the LMGs right now feel really good. They have the least amount of bloom, which I think should be the case anyway. The carbines have the most amount of bloom, in my opinion, in the game right now, which is just weird, but I guess if they're a close range gun, it makes sense. And then the SMGs feel really good. They actually have the least amount of bloom out of every single fully automatic weapon class, which I think is just completely wrong. And then the assault rifles do have a decent amount of bloom as well. So it almost feels as if the SMGs and the assault rifles should be switched for the kind of bloom that they do have. So I don't know if that's going to balance the game better or if it's going to make the game a lot worse, but it just feels like the SMGs kind of top the assault rifles for just being more accurate, which I think is just really strange. Obviously, the assault rifles have more damage at range and more headshot damage and more critical hits in general. So you're going to be dealing a lot more damage with an assault rifle if you do land your shots. But it's just the fact that the SMGs are just more accurate. It just kind of throws me off a little bit in my opinion. But let me know what your thoughts are on the assault rifle class. Which one is your favorite at the moment if you're enjoying using them? And of course you do get more benefits when you run them in the assault class. But you can run the assault rifles in any class and do well with them because they are pretty solid weapons. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, then don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.